Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of The Intelligent Moron with Alex Silva. You know, I remember when there was a time when all I ever thought about was going home, whether it was from work or school, and taking a nap. A big, long nap. That's all I ever wanted to do was nap. It was like my pastime. I was the guy who I would tell my friends, I'm going to go take a nap. You know what sounds good? A nap. You know what I can go for right now? A nap. You know what I haven't done today? Napped. I was a big nap guy. In my youth, when I was younger, it was just my thing. I don't know if it was because I had a poor diet and I wasn't getting energy from what I was consuming. If I just did not sleep well at night and relied on napping to kind of get me through the middle of the day. But I was a big nap guy. And I would always think about naps because they actually worked in giving me a little bit of a boost of energy and helping me throughout the day. And I would be actually looking forward to taking a nap in the middle of the day. It was like my shining light at the end of the tunnel. Like I was just looking at it on the horizon. There it is, my nap in the middle of the day. I'm like, come on, just got to make it to there. You're going to be all right. Now, I don't really care about naps whatsoever. In fact, I don't nap anymore. The only time I actually do nap is if I actually have a really, really busy schedule and like I do something in the day that requires more energy than I would usually expend throughout the day, and that's when I would actually take a nap. But I don't really take naps. I don't look forward to naps. I don't fantasize about naps. Naps and me have gone our separate way. I cannot continue to follow the path of the nap. I've given up. It's a path that I can no longer follow. I can't keep doing it. It wasn't good. What has helped me with naps to curb them? Caffeine, coffee, energy, just better sleep at night. That usually helps quite a bit. Caffeine works wonders. You know, when you consume caffeine at the right times of day, it can really help you a lot. It can get you through the day at key moments in the day, and you will just be like, "Oh wow, I don't need a nap whatsoever. I'm fine." I'm talking like soda, not soda. Sorry, I'm talking about like coffee. I'll have a soda here and there, right? But like, I'm mainly talking about coffee, and I'm not a huge energy drink guy. To me, they just taste like chemicals and poison. And I'm like, this cannot be all that great for me. I should probably stay away from these drinks. Because one, they have a ton of calories, and two, they just taste like they're pure chemicals. I mean, don't get me wrong, they're addicting. They got something in them that makes you, I guess it is caffeine, but they got something in them that actually makes you want more of it than you should be having. It's weird how that kind of plays a trick on your brain. But nonetheless, I don't drink those really at all anymore. If I'm really like feeling it in the middle of the day, I'll have a 5-hour energy as like a break glass in case of emergency drink. I'll just down one of those. You know, I had that. Those actually work pretty well. I'll be honest. They actually do zonk me when I do actually take them. And you don't feel as bad. At least I don't feel as bad when I take that, because I know it's not that much of a chemical, but it is a lot, in terms of the concentrated amount of caffeine and whatever the hell's in them that makes me zonked. I know it's a lot in that terms, but like at least it's not a lot of the amount that I'm actually consuming. Like to me, like when I'm drinking a Monster, I'm like, oh, this is a giant can of chemicals. Whereas a 5-hour energy, I'm like, this is just a little shot of chemicals. It's not that bad. I have an idea, though, what they should do. And this actually might take off. This actually might work. And I actually want credit for this. So I'm going to actually, tell the companies right here, right now, hey, you better contact me if you pursue this idea. But hear me out. I don't normally drink soda as often as I used to. But one of the things that I liked so much about soda was when you crack open a fresh can of Coke, and you just take that first good couple drinks, that feeling you get of the crispiness, spiciness, I'm talking about the carbonation, the coolness of it when it's ice cold. They should make like soda shots. Just like a 5-hour energy sized capsule of soda. You keep in the refrigerator, keep it ice cold. You pop it open whenever you want it, and it's just a little shot, like maybe like, I don't know, like 20 calories worth. That way it kind of curbs your urge to drink a soda. I feel like that would sell. Because a lot of times people just like the first few drinks of a soda. And then after that, I mean, at least that's how I feel sometimes. I'll crack open one, most recently I'll be like, I'll have like that first few drinks. I'm like, tasty, delicious, refreshing. And I'll be drinking the rest. I'm like, you know what? And I look at the back of the can. I'm like, 140 calories. Jesus Christ. Who wants this? I think that would be a good idea. It would be something that, hey, people in the world, we enjoy soda. Maybe we don't want an entire can of it. Maybe just a little shot of it. That's all we need. That would actually be all right. I think it would be something that would actually kind of sell in the U.S. Make it like just like a little capsule of just like Coke, Sprite, Pepsi, something just kind of pick you up a little bit. Not even like, don't even make it like a caffeine shot. Just make it like a regular little capsule of soda. Just a nice little refreshing shot of carbonation. Sometimes we kind of need that. I don't know. Maybe that'll actually work. That could sell. I don't know about you, but I still kind of enjoy the finer things in life, right? Soda. Every once in a while, candy. I still enjoy that stuff. That stuff's never going to go away. I'm not just going to grow out of enjoying pleasure. I don't stop liking candy as I get older. I think that just kind of sticks around for the rest of your life. Whatever you like is not going to just go away. And certainly it's not the best thing to suppress it either. I understand that I live a very disciplined regimen of eating better, right? But I like to go a little wild every once in a while. I think that we can all, agree that that's something that we do. As human beings, we need a nice release in life, right? When we're super disciplined with our work, lifestyle, hobbies, job, free time, diets, right? Regiments, workouts. We're disciplined, right? We only have so much time throughout the day where we got to do this and that and everything else. And we make time here and there for some pleasure. At least that's what I do, right? If I have some time, I'll be like, I'll have like a little bit of a snack here. Or maybe instead of this chicken, I'll make like a burger or something like that. Oh, I have like a little bit of time. I'm going to listen to some music or watch a YouTube video, right? Give yourself some pleasure. That's what life is about. Pleasure, enjoying life. That's what I like to call it, enjoying life. Sometimes we need that. I know I do. I don't know what it is also, but I'm having a really hard time living in this world with these modern, problems that we have. I mean, I'm not an old man, but I'm getting there. I can tell you why. Recently, I got a paper cut on my ring finger, the tip of it. Like kind of close to the nail. I'll be honest. It's not like in the middle of my finger. It's not like on the, like by the knuckle. It's pretty much at the tip of my fingernail, or close to my fingernail. And I will tell you that paper cuts are just break my leg. I'd rather have my leg broken, snapped in half, than go through a paper cut. Paper cuts, they happen, and when they happen, you feel every second of it, and why did I grab this, or why did I move my hand in that way, at that speed, and give myself this injury. Now, obviously, I'm kidding. I would not rather have my leg snapped in half. Knock on wood that doesn't happen, because that would be actually tragic. I've never broken a bone in my body, and I want to continue that streak for as long as I can. But I will still complain about paper cuts, because they're a minor inconvenience that there really is no other way to repair it until your body actually repairs it itself. And let me be honest with you. Getting a paper cut on your finger is one of the worst places to get a paper cut. It's one of the most common places, because that's what you deal with papers, with your hands and your fingers, right? That's just how it works. When you're dealing with paper, you must know the dangers of dealing with paper. Now, when it happened, of course, as soon as it happened, I was like, God, no. I'm injured. Now it's just like, you know what? Maybe it wasn't that bad. Maybe it was just like a minor cut. Maybe it's not going to draw blood. No, it drew blood. I was wrong. I got to get some ointment, some antibacterial stuff. I'm going to go wash it out first, antibacterial, because I'm not going to take any chances of getting infected and stuff like that. Then I got to put a Band-Aid on. And I got to go about my day, because I got a paper cut. I either got two options, right? You can have no Band-Aid and be very ginger and gentle with my finger and what I do and work around it. Or I could add a Band-Aid on in a very, very non-operable, it's a Band-Aid on this part of my finger is not going to work. It is just not. It's going to make me clumsy. And as soon as I put that Band-Aid on, I'm like, this is going to come off in like 10 minutes. And it's going to be, up until then, I'm going to be fumbling with things because I can't grip it right. And my brain is just trained to not, because I have an injury on the finger, I'm not going to be able to grasp things, maneuver things, use my fine motor skills the way I want to, because I have a Band-Aid on there because I'm injured. For some reason, my brain is not allowing me to grasp firmly, to maneuver things properly, because I have a Band-Aid on the tip of my finger, which a Band-Aid already, no matter what Band-Aid that you find, there is no Band-Aid that is going to be able to comfortably stick on that part of my finger. There's just no way. Band-Aids need to improve substantially. If you are a modern day person like myself and you get injured on the job, and need to perform at your job, we need better Band-Aids. Like, this is just ridiculous. I can't tell you how many Band-Aids I went through that day in those first 2 days because, one, they just unstick. Two, they're not meant to be put on every part of your hand that is just like going to flex and twist and move and extend and stretch without the adhesive just completely failing on you. Now, I don't want to have to buy special Band-Aids with like an extra flex support or maneuverability, enhancements. I just make Band-Aids better. They shouldn't have to be this uncomfortable on parts of my body, like the tip of my finger. They should be able to work and adjust and mold to my movements of my appendages. I shouldn't have to have this issue in 2025 if I get injured on the job. I mean, I just don't really see how we have not enhanced and gotten better at this type of technology. And it's even worse because I have no option but to put on a Band-Aid. Here's the reason. Paper cuts are very delicate wounds. Very delicate. You cannot aggravate a paper cut. You can't like swipe your finger on cloth, a towel, some hard surface without it aggravating the injury even more. I've had that before where, I have a slight paper cut. It was bleeding. It stopped. I rubbed, or my finger grazed on the surface the wrong way, reopened the wound, bleeding again. Like, I mean, I just, there's no, you can't get around it. It's just like you have to choose. You're either going to have a very, very maneuver around things very softly, gingerly, cautiously, being slow, or two, you slap a Band-Aid on it and you're just clumsy for that entire day. You have two options, and no option is good. It's not good. Paper cuts might be one of the worst injuries you could ever suffer at the workplace in the modern day. There really is nothing worse than that, honestly. I don't think that, again, I would rather have my leg snapped. Not that I want to, knock on wood, but I'm just saying it would be a much smoother recovery, I think, than a paper cut. Hear me out. I mean, come on. Where's my fellow workday people? Paper cuts, are you going to want one? I know you don't want one. I mean, when you get them, you're going to be like, oh, hell, now my day's ruined. And it's not just one day. It's like at least a good 2 days where the paper cut will hurt for a bit. Any bad movements on it, any little little grazes upon a surface that it's not gonna like is gonna hurt. And I'm a guy, right? I don't do well with pain at all. I try to avoid pain as much as I can. I get nicks here and there. I actually hurt myself the day after I got my paper cut. I got a cut on my knuckle. You know what I did? I was trying to do something manly. I was trying to grill on my barbecue, right? For some reason, the gauge, the knob to open up the propane to allow my barbecue to ignite was tightened so much that I could not untighten it unless I had taken it off of the hose for the propane onto the concrete where I could get a full motion twist. And I knew I was going to hurt myself, by the way, because I had to use a ton of force, and it's not like I could immediately stop my progress when I'm turning because I'm not a machine, right? So I wind up to unscrew this or pop this thing loose because it's so freaking screwed on there so tight for no goddamn reason why. I do it. I wind up, I get enough force, I loosen it, I open it, and then I nick my knuckle on the metal part of the propane tank. And boom, another injury. Another inconvenient injury. One, I'm in pain, I'm bleeding, right? I mean, I'm also outside. It's hot. I'm trying to get the grill started because I want to have dinner at an early time. I don't want to have it super late. So I'm like, you know what? Why not get it going now? As I'm outside, in the first place, trying to, get myself underneath the grill and trying to do it, normally, like I would just like open the door to underneath the grill where the propane is and boom, open it up. No, it couldn't have been, it wasn't going to be that easy for me. I was going to have to unhook it, take it out, and really open it and then put it back in. Now I'm sweating. Propane is not, it's in a heavy tank. It's never light. It's a heavy exchange. Not to imagine, not to, to overshadow the fact that getting propane at a store is like one of the worst experiences of all time. If you don't know, it's the worst. It's a tragic experience. When you go to a store, usually outside of their facilities is a propane exchange depot where they have propane tanks where you can buy one if you don't have one. Let's say you're a new homeowner. Let's say you buy a barbecue for the first time, right? $800 gas barbecue, right? You pay it, you get it installed. You got to go buy propane to use it. That usually costs me around like $80 to buy a new tank. But if you have tanks that you've used in the past and you're out of propane, you could exchange it for $20, $25 around there. So what do? I go to the store. I got to get more propane to make dinner, right? So I can eat, so I can live, right? I buy the propane. Or no, I go to the store and I buy my groceries. And before that, I take my empty propane tank, put it in my car, right? Unless you're like, I have my propane hooked up in my grill that's outside. Now, outside is a nasty place. Dust, dirt, debris. The propane tank is never clean when I take it. So in the process, I'm dirtying my car. I'm dirtying myself by carrying that propane tank from the grill to the car to the front of the store where they have the propane depot. Right? It is a mission. It is work. It is not easy. It is one of the things where I'm like, we got to make a better and a much easier way to barbecue and get propane than this way, because this is just not it. All right, you do all the work, you go to the store, you don't take the propane tank inside the store. You leave it at the depot that's outside the store, right? So automatically you're like, okay, I'm going to leave this tank right here. This is my tank. The cameras see I brought this so I can exchange it for a full tank of propane. Hopefully, no one steals it and robs you of what you're trying to get, right? Because if they steal it, then who are they going to believe? You know what I'm saying? You go in, at least I go into the store. I never just go and get propane by itself. I think that's weird. I usually like to buy groceries and then also purchase a propane exchange. So I'm in there buying groceries, bread, chicken, yogurt. I'll make it, so I'm like, I seem like an all right guy. I'll buy like some fruit or something like that. Maybe a vegetable. A well-balanced, like, oh, this guy appears to be, he appears to be all right. He's got some, normal food items. He's not just buying junk, which I don't, but, hey, people judge. I assume that the cashier at the grocery store is going to judge on what I'm buying, what I'm consuming, because I would do the same thing, right? I get all my stuff in the shopping cart. It's not much, hey, I got it. So I'm waiting in line, and I put my things on the belt. It starts the conveyor down. I get closer and closer to the cashier. I'm about to pay, and they're like, "Hey, how are you?" I'm like, "I'm doing good. How you doing?" And she's ringing me up, and I'm like, hey, I'd also like to do a propane exchange if that's okay. They're never okay with that. They're never okay with you doing a propane exchange. Ever. I don't know what it is, but the cashiers at the grocery store for some reason just hate doing propane exchanges because they like never know how to open the door to a propane exchange. For some reason, it's like a lock and a key that no one has with them ever. They have to go to the back, get someone who can lift a propane tank because for some reason none of these cashiers know how to do it. So they got to go find the key, get someone to do it, tell them to do it. They're never happy to do it, and they're not happy to ring me up either for a propane exchange. So, I mean, I think that we need to just get a better way to do propane exchanges than them having them at the store and someone who does not know how to operate the propane depot get me my propane. I mean, don't get me wrong. Most of the time, they're able to get it, pretty easily. But there's always a few times where, it's always giving them a little bit of trouble. I don't know what it is. But I guess because propane is, kind of like an essential if you think about it. I mean, it provides fire, which provides heat to cook, to warm yourself up, whatever that may be. So, like, a homeless guy, if they got into a propane depot, they would steal that shit, every single day. So I understand that they have to make it, like, under lock and key. I get that. And it's always outside, too. I understand that. But I just wish that they would know how to do it more than they lead on. It seems like they never want to do it or know how to do it. They always got to get someone like, hey, Josh, I need a propane exchange. And he's never happy about it. He's never happy because he's got to go outside where it's hot. And he's got to go get the propane. And, he goes out there, before my stuff is even rung up. And I'm like, well, hold on, buddy. Wait up for me because you got to give me my propane. I'm going to be out there. So, she rings up my stuff. I get all my stuff in my cart, and I'm rushing out. Like, I got to go meet Josh because he's going to open up the propane depot, and I got to get my propane. And then, thank God nobody steals my empty can of propane. That's always a rush, because that's your proof that you get in exchange and that you can get the new propane for $25 instead of paying $80 for a brand new tank. Like, there is so much weight upon that tank, that empty tank of propane still being there, that you're just hoping and praying that no one snatches it up. Because if they snatch it up, you're gonna have to pay $80 for propane because they ain't gonna. There's no exchange technically. You can't. You can't just say, well, it was here, now it's gone. They're not going to be like, well, okay, I guess I'll give it to you for $25. That's just not going to happen. So getting propane is quite the issue. It's quite a mission. It's exhilarating. It's usually always like nerve-wracking when I do it. I always have to kind of, pray that society is on my side and nobody steals my exchanged propane or my empty propane tank. I don't want it to get snatched up and then I'm like, it was here. Like being all dumb and crap like that. It's always a rush. It never is easy, at least in my opinion. It's never smooth. It's always a little bit of a hassle. And that's kind of like what life is all about too. Is like it's not that easy. Days are not easy. They're earned, not given. You got to earn the day. You have to be able to make the decisions throughout the day that make your day better, unless like you're a multi-millionaire and you don't got to leave your house whatsoever and you can wake up, eat a bowl of cereal, drink some coffee, play some games, go to a swimming pool, swim, take a nap, have someone make you lunch and dinner and then go to bed, then you have a pretty easy day. But if you're not rich, if you're not a millionaire, if you're like me, where, you got to have the stars kind of align to make your day right. when I actually have a smooth day where I am able to wake up on time, where I am able to get ready on time with no distractions, not necessarily distractions, but no hiccups in my routine, no speed bumps along the way, right? Smooth sailing, right? No traffic on the way to work, right? No issues, no construction, no accidents, no lights that don't work, stuff like that. And I'm at work. Nothing goes wrong. Everything goes smoothly. Everything is fine. No one's, too stressed out about things. You're able to, get off of work on time, able to go to the gym, get in the workout, in and out, quickly, efficient, get home, shower, dinner, relax. Then that's when the stars, for me, feel like they align when I have the perfect day. That doesn't happen every day, I'll be honest. It's just not something that happens. But when it does, and I notice when it does, I get on my hands and knees and I pray. No, I'm just kidding. I don't pray, but I'm like, oh my God. I do take the time to appreciate the day when it is that good. Because when the days are that good, I wish upon more of those days to continue, because those are the best days. When a day just goes by perfectly. A perfect day. They're not very common, but when they happen, it's like, oh yes, this was a good day. You can't, and when they're happening, you have to cherish them. You really need to cherish them. It's something that you just cannot let go and just say, oh, it happened. What a coincidence. Oh, I wish that would happen all the time. At least that's not how I view it. I cherish it. I stop and I appreciate. I pause. I look around. Take a sniff. I'm like, oh, this is what a perfect day smells like and feels like. I got to create more of these. I got to try at least. Because I always do my very, very, very best to make days good. I don't like to have bad days. Bad days to me are not an option. I think that every day is a good day or has an opportunity to be a better day. It's not a mindset where I'm like, it's just a bad day. It's a bad day. Today's not a great. No. Every day is a good day with a chance to be a better day. That's how I view it. I have this glass of water right here, right? Perfect. Refreshing. Healthy. Quench thirsting. Is that what it is? Quenched thirsted? Wait, no. Thirst quenching. Thirst quenching liquid that we get from the sky, the ocean. This one probably from the ground somewhere. Beautiful, beautiful liquid that gives us hope in life. We need water to survive. We do need it. We don't need soda. We don't need coffee. We don't need junk food. We need water to survive. This clear liquid that tastes like really nothing, right? But to our brains, tastes like nourishment. Tastes like life. Tastes like hope. Tastes like tranquility. I don't know. I don't know what else to say. But you know what I'm talking about. When you think of water, it tastes like life. It tastes like, I don't know. I can't even explain it, right? But when we drink it, we're like, that was good. Or, ooh, that was good. You're never going to drink water and be disappointed. Maybe if you get really bad bottled water where it's ooh, I can taste a lot of the plastic. That's not great. Or hot water. Maybe you left a bottle of water in your car. You're thirsty. You got nothing else to drink. You're like, well, I'm really thirsty, so I'm just going to drink this really hot water. You drink it, you're like, oh man, that kind of sucked. But at least I'm not going to die. you know, because let's be honest, we have the days where we leave a bottle of water in our car and we're dying of thirst, and the only option is that bottle of water. Are you not going to drink some of it? Now, I have been someone who has done that, drinking some of the boiling water that is in your car, on a hot summer day. It does not quench your thirst whatsoever. But at least you know that you'll have a little bit of hydration in you to feel a little bit better. And then when you get home or when you get to your destination, you're going to find a nice cup of cold water, which will make everything better. Like I said, every day has a chance to be a better day. There's no bad days, only good days and better days. That's just how I view it. When I got a paper cut, I'm like, oh no. Well, I guess I'll put a Band-Aid on and we'll see how this goes. We'll see how I can rock it. Now I have no pain, which is good because the past couple of days was kind of painful. I don't think that anyone really is mentally equipped to kind of deal with the type of obstacles that kind of are presented when someone does get a paper cut. I mean, once you do get a paper cut, it's pretty much the day's ruined. At least that's how I view it. Again, minor inconveniences, right, that have just kind of shaped the way that you live. Shaped the way you operate, shaped the way that you view life. I mean, hey, I also told you that I'd rather have my leg get snapped than get a paper cut. I'm kidding, by the way. I wouldn't want that. That would absolutely suck. But hey, sometimes when you get a minor inconvenience like that, you're like, oh, I'd rather have this happen than this absolute terrible situation, even though it's not even that bad. It's just not even that bad. Moving on to something that's actually worth chatting about, not like that wasn't worth chatting about. It's just it's more of a relatable topic in life. Because everybody kind of has those inconveniences that can be a little daunting. Not daunting, but just, I'd rather this not be happening to me right now. But here we are. There's really not much I could say. There was something that came out a couple days ago from a CEO of a game studio. Video games. If you're aware of or familiar with the game Borderlands, which I'm not really, but here I go. The CEO, Randy Pitchford, the CEO of Gearbox, who develops the Borderlands games, right? There's 4 of them right now, I think. Maybe a couple spin-offs. Pretty successful games in terms of fans, I guess you would say. Sales. In that way, it's a popular franchise of a game. I've never played it ever, but I know a lot of people that actually do like it and find enjoyment in it. But the CEO came out and said that real fans will pay $80 for their game. And this is kind of within the whole zeitgeist of the price hikes in video games, because as you're probably aware, a lot of games coming out are just going to be increasing the price of just buying the game itself. As long as I've lived, as long as I've been on this earth, there's been many, many, many price hikes when it comes to the sales of video games. Back in the day when I was young, Xbox days, PlayStation 2 days, GameCube days, when I was prominent in the gaming universe as a child and consuming and having to ask my parents to buy these games for me, I knew the prices of them back then. It was $50 for a game, a brand new game, $50, around there. Xbox 360 came along. those games were generally around the same price, $50. Xbox 360, and up in that price range for those games. The Xbox One came out, PlayStation 4, those games had an increase in price to $60. At that point, people were like, well, that's kind of a lot for games. Like, that's a big increase, a $10 increase for a game. Is this game better? Does it look better? Is it, worth it? Like, is it just a price gouging? Like, what's the deal? We all kind of just like were, as kids, younger people back then, were just like, whatever. I mean, I guess we'll have to pay for it. I guess $10 extra plus the tax. What's that going to be? That's not too much of that's not too much of an increase. I guess we'll just do it. And then the Xbox One, or no, I think midway through the Xbox One/One X days, they rose them to $70. And even through like the Series X, the PS5s, that the current generation, they remained at $70. And what was kind of funny was when it remained at $70, the less content that you would get in the games across the board. You would get games that are not even fully made, mechanics not even put in the game, functionability just not there, graphics not there, performance not there. The games slowly became more and more less finished, less of a finished product, more of a work in progress, more of a updates are coming, and the games were not up to speed. They weren't operating properly. They were not working as they were supposed to. Glitches, bugs, crashings, constant patches. You got less and less game for the same amount of money, and a substantial amount of storage space that it would need to have the game on your hard drive for you to simply play the game. It just became like, as a gamer, you were a professional at getting ripped off. You were just known for it. You would willingly get ripped off for the price of $70. That was just like what you were known for. And now that I think about it, and now that I'm talking to myself about it, we were professional, we just got scammed day in and day out by these companies that would make a game, advertise a game as they wanted it to. It come out, nothing like that. And we just kind of let it go by. We did not have an uprise. There was no revolution. We weren't sieging developers' offices like we probably should. We just let it go by the wayside as they got rich and didn't have to lift a finger. Didn't have to actually work. They would put out a game that was barely halfway made, and we would pay full price for that game. And now this CEO of this company, who makes Borderlands, says that real fans will pay $80 for the game outright. And I'm like, how many real fans you got, guy? Enough to make a profit? You sure about that? Like, the audacity, the overconfidence, the ability to not read the room on this situation. Clearly, this man does not care about the consumer, does not care about me, does not care about you, only cares about the sales of his game. I understand that. He has a boss to report to as well. But just the sheer blindness of the situation, the inability to read the room, the inability to see the economy at the point, right? How much everything costs right now. It's ridiculous. You think I'm going to spend $80 for a game that doesn't even work? No, I need proof now. I think us as gamers, we have let this gone off on way too long. That right now, like, if you want me to buy your game for full price, you got to prove to me that it actually works enough for me to pay for it at full price. I want to see that $80 value actually work in action. I want to see it. I don't want to be, mismarketed, misadvertised, lied to, straight up not even, given, exactly what I paid for. I want to see your game work in action. So I think when this guy comes out and says real fans are going to pay for an $80 game, it's just like, guy, you better hope you have real fans. And you better hope you have a lot of them, because I don't see your game making a profit whatsoever if you're going to have this type of, response to the world, the gaming world, about your game. Your game better be good. Your game better work. If not, you're not going to have a successful game. I'm just telling you. Let's be honest. These games that they put out, while they're artistic, while they're worked on by a lot of people, while they're, have a lot of passion, pride, storytelling, care, desire put into them, they're only out there to make money. They only exist so a company could stay afloat, so people can continue to work, so people can continue to have a job in the field of developing a game. That is the only reason why these games are coming out. It's just the truth. So when you see all these interviews of these developers, artists, engineers, coders, testers, what have you, while they preach and tell you, this is what I always love to do. I've always dreamt of this. I love doing what I do. It's not a job to me. It's fun. It is a job. It is their job. That's how they have a house. That's how they make money. That's how they eat food. That's how they pay their rent, how they pay off their car, their loans. That's how they do it. So don't tell me that, this is just a project just out of pure passion and love for the material, for what it is, and all the artistic stuff that went into it. Yeah, it is, but at the bottom line is it's there to make money. It's there to keep these people employed. So if you look at it that way, I know it's not the way that people want to look at it, because it's kind of like the business side of it. And let's be honest, I mean, business is just business, right? It is. You're supposed to be emotionally detached when it comes to business, but us as human beings, we're emotional creatures that live off of emotions and thrive off of emotions, and emotions with other human beings that also run these businesses and that also work in these businesses. It's hard to, completely detach emotionally when dealing with business. It's just hard. It's hard to. If we were all robots, it would be so easy to get business done, because no one would be, emotionally uncertain about things that they're going to do in their job, or how this person's going to feel if I do this instead of that. If that was not the case, it would be so much easier for us to do business. But since we're not robots, it's hard. And that's just kind of like what we got to deal with. I don't know. I just feel like with this guy, the way he said that was like, man, dude, like, you better hope that your fans are in the masses and they all buy your game, because if no one buys your game, your overpriced, not worth game, half-ass game, it's going to look so bad on you, and you're going to have to fire so many people. And I'm pretty sure you're probably not going to want to do that, but also at the same time, you're that company's CEO. You're probably like, I don't care. Get them all out. Evil dude, But, I think that, certain things people will pay for. Maybe not Borderlands 4, but certainly that Nintendo Switch 2 is coming out very, very soon. That overpriced, way well overpriced Nintendo Switch 2 is coming out very, very soon. I believe $450 for the console itself, and then the bundle with Mario Kart World is $500. So essentially you're getting the game $30 cheaper than what it would be for a flat price of $500 for the bundle. Now, to me, that is well overpriced for a Nintendo Switch. The device itself is not worth that much money. I mean, you can look at, when the Xbox Series X and the PlayStation 5 launched when they were at $500. You could legitimately give an argument of how that is worth the amount of money that it was priced at. That it was worth that. I think so. Maybe not at the price hike that it's at now, like almost $700. But when it came out 5 years ago, it was worth that much money. And you look at the Nintendo Switch 2, and you see what it is, what it can do, the functionality of it, the all its bells and whistles, or lack of there, and you're like, that is base price at $450? To me, that's a no. I mean, I look at it and I'm like, how could that possibly be worth it? I'm looking at what it is and what they're trying to sell me and seeing it, all the specs are out. The breakdowns are out. The resolution, the picture quality, the speeds, all that is out for you to see if it's worth that much money. And when I look at it, I'm like, no, that's not worth the money at all. How could Nintendo be this evil and actually charge that much money for that console? Well, it's because Nintendo is probably the most popular gaming company of all time. The most popular gaming company ever. They probably are. They might be, actually. And Nintendo knows, no matter what they put their price at for their console, people will buy it. And I know that people will buy it because I know a lot of people, including myself, that love Nintendo, that are going to buy it. Now, I'm a little bit older, so I don't really see... I'm really picky on what I choose to buy now. I'm kind of a cheapskate. And I don't really see the value in that at this console right now. But I know a lot of people whose love for Nintendo overshadows their rational thinking, and they'll just buy it. Day one, buy it, boom. With all its problems at launch, issues, bugs, whatever, they're just going to buy it. And I know that there's a lot of people that will buy it. And they're banking on that. And they know it's going to sell well. Nintendo knows that their products, they just sell extremely well. They make a ton of money. There's no reason for Nintendo to stop making consoles. There's a reason why they haven't been able to, they don't even go near PCs or porting them to PCs, because Nintendo knows that the people will buy their consoles to play Nintendo games. There's a market for Nintendo consoles. And at the moment, it's as strong as it's ever been. Maybe not Nintendo DS strong, but it's definitely very, very, very strong. Stronger than PlayStation and Xbox, that's for sure. Way stronger. Way stronger. So they don't have an issue with people wanting to buy their consoles. Absolutely no issue. Hell, I'm surprised that they didn't make the base Nintendo Switch 500. Add a little extra money to their pocket. People will buy it. People are going to buy it. I mean, it's sickening. It really is. I remember when the Nintendo Switch came out, priced at $300 for that thing. I was like, what? It's not even a console. It's just a handheld device. $300? That was insane back then. And now the base price is $450 for essentially the same thing. A little bit better specs, a little bit better hardware, a little bit better software. Straight up $150 more. When everything, I think a lot of people were kind of expecting an actual traditional console from Nintendo, and we get another Switch. I mean, are we just going to be making Switches now? I mean, Nintendo can do whatever the hell they want to. They have that much power. This Borderlands guy better get himself checked out. Better check himself, because I don't think he realizes how little power this guy has compared to Nintendo. Like, sure, man, you can price your game at $80, but you better hope that you have a lot of real fans out there so you can make some sort of profit, which he's not, by the way. Let's just be honest. He's not going to make a profit on this game. Nintendo, however, they're about to cash in very quickly. A quick cash in. That paycheck from, Nintendo is going to be, I mean, I can already see it now. It's going to be quite insane. All right, last thing before I get out of here. A little bit of sports. Tush push. The famous play that the Philadelphia Eagles have perfected the past 3 years was brought to court, NFL court, deciding whether the play will get banned or not. Yesterday was the hearing of the play, and it has been confirmed that the tush push is here to stay. It will not be getting banned at all, which honestly, I didn't really see a reason to ban it. It's a play that is legal in the NFL. You just got to prepare for it. You got to drop a play that will contain it, that can neutralize the tush push. It's possible, right? Just because one team, and it's only really one team, the Eagles can it's like an automatic, right? But not everybody has perfected it. If everybody was scoring off the tush push, guaranteed score, then I can understand why people would want to ban it. Sure. But only one team can really perfect it, which is the Philadelphia Eagles. So if one team is scoring off of it, really, one team is doing it, there's no real reason for you to ban it. Also, if you don't want the tush push to be used on you, then don't give the team the option to use the tush push on you. Stop them. Don't let them get the first down. Play defense. It's really simple. It's super simple when you think about it. How do I stop them from using the tush push? Don't put them in the position to use a tush push. It's really that simple. Now, of course, easier said than done, sure. But we're in 2025 now, about to enter the 2025-2026 season. This play has been around for years. If we're having issues with it, then that means defensive coordinators are not looking into this play more than they need to. Hey, also, the NFL is pro scoring, right? You think that they're going to allow a play to be banned that promotes more scoring in NFL games? You'd be stupid to think that. Super stupid. That is like a surefire, when you're on the goal line, a surefire, secured play to score a touchdown. And you think that the NFL is going to outright ban it because one team had trouble stopping it, Green Bay? No, that's just not going to happen. I thought it was silly when it was held up in NFL court, to be decided should we ban it or should we not? I thought that was so silly. I couldn't believe it. I was like, really? They're wasting time on this, deciding whether a play should be banned or not? I thought it was so stupid. So silly. I could not believe it. I was like, no, this is not the best way to have to use a day to see if this play should be banned or not. I don't know. Just to me, it was just so stupid and so silly. I was like, this is actually happening. And I was watching it, not watching it, but I was keeping up with it throughout the day. I was like, is this going to get banned or not? If it does get banned, that's kind of wimpy. That's kind of like anti-football almost. Like, it's kind of like just like you just couldn't stop a play, so you took it to Roger Goodell and basically gave him the decision. Like, listen, boss, we got to get rid of this play. We can't stop it. It's too hard. We can't stop. It's like, it's just such a baby, crybaby excuse to get that, to take it to NFL court to see if they could get it banned. And it turns out they couldn't. They were just like, you know what, just man up. Just stop it yourself. Sometimes you just got to be a man and man up. Do it yourself. All right, that's going to be it for me today, people. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Remember, you can find this podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube at Intelligent Moron with Alex Silva. New episodes drop every Thursday morning. Make sure to like, subscribe, rate, review, and do all that good stuff. And yes, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. And I will see you guys next week.